Morning as we continue on with our 10 minutes of morning calm. And today we're continuing on with this story, and it's this migration of the patriarch of the Jewish, Christian, and Islamic faiths, Abram or Abraham. And we're reaching a part of his journey again. This is all beautiful metaphor and reaching a part of the story where it talks about rebellion occurring. And we'll go into all the details about that, but I do want to talk about that idea of rebellion and teenagerdom and those kinds of things. It was interesting last night. This weekend is my 40th class reunion, and I was out to dinner with some dear friends last night. One of whom I hadn't seen literally in 40 years, had not seen him since he graduated. He lives in England and came over for the reunion. Wonderful to catch up with everyone. And as we're having this conversation, one of the questions we had around the table last night was, what would your current 58-year-old self tell your 18-year-old self? How would that connection work? And it was interesting what people shared, about that teenager time of rebellion, what they would have told that person. And it was interesting watching that the answer really coalesced around two things. Number one, be curious, and number two, be present. Really trying to, sort of, if I knew then what I know now, what I wish I'd known then, what I wish I could have told myself then would have been, yeah, be curious about life, be present to what's right in front of you. And it's interesting taking a look at how Christian New Church theology, again connecting to this word rebellion, that rebellion happens because we do kind of have these two forces at work in our lives, and these are at work in our lives. So I don't know in this life whether we actually eliminate the challenges of them. They're just part of life. They're sort of baked into our DNA as human beings. And these are the two forces: corrupt desires and the false ideas, and good impulses and true ideas. So we have on the one hand, and all of us can remember this from teenagers, them, the corrupt desires. This stuff is just like, oh my goodness. And it can be all about power, it can be all about this, it can be all about that. And anything that comes from that kind of desire for power, prestige, possessions is more maybe an adult way to say it. Anything that comes out of that is going to be inevitably false. Now, it may appear true, it may be successful in sort of a very superficial way in life, but it is at its core false. It's not who we were created to be. We weren't created to really work off of that and find ourselves, to find our true selves. And it's interesting to flip on the other side then to think of good impulses and true ideas. Making notes for this morning, thinking, oh yeah, that's what we have to learn to trust. We have to learn to trust that our good impulses will actually lead to true ideas. And I find that so fascinating, right? Just think about that for a minute. Each of us is gifted with good impulses. They may be small, they may be just these faint little voices in the back of our head that ask us to reach out or to connect with that person or to call that person or to text that person or to pull over to help that woman change a flat tire or to go down and serve in the city. Anything that might be. We all have that good impulse that stirs. And when that good impulse stirs, that's what leads to actually true ideas. That's incredibly significant because a lot of faith can certainty can be weaponized. Sort of, especially religious certainty can be weaponized in a lot of ways that are really unfortunate. That's not necessarily a good impulse. And it's not that there aren't things we shouldn't be certain about, etc. I don't want to overstate that, but we really want to sort of ground our lives in those good impulses and to see where they lead us, to see what kind of truth they yield in our lives. And I think two of the best good impulses, this draws it full circle, are learning a good impulse to be present to the people right in front of us, and the good impulse to be curious about where they're coming from. So who's the person right in front of you? Be present to them and be curious about how they see the world. If we can do those two things, boy, we will find a lot of truth. And just hearing these dear friends, from 40 years ago chatting it up, there's lots of good stuff there. I mean, these are great men who've done wonderful jobs with their families, with their relationships, with their careers, who've served in different places. I mean, there's a lot of high caliber people around that table, and I think it's because frankly, from a young age, these people, because of, I'll be so bold as to say it, because of being brought up within a spiritual context, really learned to listen to those good impulses and really learn to follow through on that stuff, really learn that's how God was speaking to them. And they found a truth there, a wisdom that was a way to serve. And then that's really good. So, friends, that's what to think about today is, you may just want to look at the question. What would your older self tell your younger self? That might be one thing you could use as a takeaway. And another might simply be this idea of good impulses. Really follow those good impulses and try to start, if you're having a challenging time, just start with the simple one of, how can I be present and how can I be curious? How can I be present to the person in front of me, letting go of all this stuff, and to be truly curious about who they are, where they're coming from, what their ideas are, how they see the world. So that's the thought for today for 10 minutes of calm, folks. I hope that makes a lot of sense. And what we're going to do now we're going to shift gears. And we shift gears here at New Church Live for 10 minutes of calm. What we do is we take a little breath, we get ourselves a little centered, we get ourselves a little calm. 10 minutes, hence 10 minutes of morning calm, by listening to a prayer bell. After we listen to the prayer bell, then we will shift gears. And after listening to the prayer bell, we shift gears and we look at a little prayer, a little blessing, and we say hi to folks on social media. And again, you can post, most people do actually post far later in the week. So again, if you're looking at another time or another time zone or another part of the country you're answering from, please feel free to leave us a comment. It's always wonderful to hear from folks and for us to share kind of our perspective on these things. So with that, dear friends, are we ready? Let's take a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a little cheery hello to folks. And again, I hope you're all doing quite well on this fine morning. So it's going to be a beautiful day, at least out here in the Philadelphia area. All right. Sherry writes, your classmates are so special. You're blessed to have each other in your lives. Enjoy each other this weekend. We certainly will. Sherry, I'm sure your son, who's a dear friend and classmate, told you that little wedding gift you sent to us, as soon as he pulled it up, I said, that's from your mom. And so thank you very much. Susan and I got a real kick out of it. You will see it hanging in the background, I am sure, in a future 10 minutes of morning calm. So great to have that comment. All right, dear friends, let's flip over to here. All right, Let's see here. Rob Morin, what I tell myself is don't fall in superficial love. Don't use don't use social media, and don't smoke cigarettes. Rob, that's a really good one. Yeah, I think especially the social media. That's one I wrestle with all the time. All the time. Kim, great to have you joining us. And again, a big shout out there, Rob. Charter Day, which is the homecoming here for this school that we are located on, is indeed a big deal. And Linda, good morning to you, and I hope you are doing well, my friend. Eileen, I see you joining us there. Great to have you joining us. And the Reuters joining us. Great to have you folks joining us. There's some other folks on there as well that aren't showing up on my feed. But folks, I'm just wishing you all the best. God bless me. You have a day being both curious and present. And now to close, just a final word about supporting New Church Live. Like our content? It's funded by viewers like you. Please consider becoming a sustaining supporter of New Church Live today. Take care and God bless, dear friends. We will see you on Monday.